World 0 has many classes that I believe need to be ranked. In total, there are over 10 classes to be ranked in game. However, you may be wondering, what does each class do and how do they work? Does each class have special moves that each can use? And which ones are the best? Well, there isn't really a best class per se, but each has different perks that can be used to the player's advantage. For example, there's Demon, which is generally ranked as the highest class that is a Spectre and can slash enemies. There's Mage of Light, which can mainly be ranked as a support class, and many, many more. Throughout watching this video, you'll see that each class has its own advantages and disadvantages to it, which may come out of use to you. Which has the best damage? Which has the best support? These are all questions I will attempt to answer in this video, along with your other World 0 questions. Let's get started. My name is Suki Alex, and this is our World 0 series, where we show you World 0 tips, tricks, and many more. Yo, what's up, #Nerd Squad, and welcome back to another video. Before we get started in this video, make sure to subscribe, for there's lots of drama, news, tips and tricks, and more. Don't forget to turn on the bell so that you never miss out on one of my videos, which are uploaded weekly to twice a week now that school is back up. We're really close to 6K subscribers. Please help us out by subscribing. Anyways, as you can see, this is the same account I used last video, and I worked on it for around 40 hours to be the highest class, along with all the classes, so I can show you how they all work. The ranking system will be Class 1, Class 2, and Demon. This ranking system will help us determine which are the best classes in terms of damage, support, and more, which will hopefully help you out in your quest to see the best class. Remember, there isn't a class that's the best, but each are the best in their own regards in terms of damage, support, and etc. Let's get started with our starter classes. At number 3 is the swordsman. Let's start with the general moves of the swordsman, which is your first one is your general strike. And that is the general slice of your sword. This slice can flip in the air and generally does a decent amount of damage. Next is your crescent strike. Crescent means almost shaped like a moon. In general, this is a forward type motion that does a lot of damage. Next up is your leap slash, which works as your character leaps and does a slash. This does a decent amount of damage and is a good finisher move. However, this class is best for damage, but in general isn't exactly the best class to pick when starting as your health really replenishes very easy. However, if you are a damage type player, I would absolutely pick this class as the damage is pretty decent on this class. At number 2 is Defender. This is one of the best starter classes to choose to start off with, as it comes with a heavier move type set. There isn't really slowness to this weapon as expected, but it does have a decent move set. In terms of this move set, there's many. Let's start with our first, which is Slash. It's just a general slash that works as your character stomping and hitting, moving forward, stomping, and hitting again. Berserker does the same thing. Next is the Groundbreaker move, which shakes the earth with the power of the Great Axe. In general, this is an amazing move that pretty much knocks out enemies one go. Next is your Spin, which is the spinning move. This is a great horde move and knocks out many hordes. And finally is your basics that include with all classes. The reason why I say Defender is better than Swordsman is because it does much more damage in terms of special moves. And the Spin is great for knocking out hordes, which you'll have to deal quite a bit with. Although you can pick either one, it's your choice at the end. At number 1 for starter classes is the Arcane Mage. The Arcane Mage is the best as of its ability to range and protect you, which can come handy in boss battles where you do not want to lose a lot of health. The low combated damage can be substituted for other moves in it. Let's go over the moveset real quick. The moveset firstly includes Arcane Orbs, which are general orbs that will fire at your opponent. Next is Arcane Blast, which can pretty much knock out opponents in one go. It's very easy to use in terms of it because it will always fire correctly and hit your target. Next is your Arcane Wave, which launches a wave erupting arcane energy and is a great finisher, especially for hordes. The reason why I say this class is one of the best is because you have low health when you start, and by staying back and just using its moves, these ranged attacks can come in real handy when you're a starter class and you need to stay back when the boss does the big boom, etc. This class is known for its range. However, if you want a damage type class, it's best to go with Defender as the damage is extraordinary. Not that Swordsman is bad, it's just not the best in terms of horde damage. Next up is our Class 2 classes. Class 2 classes can be unlocked by finding Class 1 tickets, which can be found in the tickets of World 2. They can go by being unlocked by daily missions, just like demon class tickets, which are also used to unlock all classes. I'll do a guide later on how to find these class tickets a lot easier, so stay tuned for that. And number 3 is our elementalist. The elementalist is a decent class, but I wouldn't call it the best in terms of the poor damage it does. It does, however, work as a good support class. I consider myself a more damage-based player, and I think most people would too, so let's go over the moveset real quick. Firstly is your basic attack, which does kind of mad damage. I wouldn't really consider this the best damage in game, as it is a tad weak, and what a lot of people critique this class for. Up next, your icicle wield, which erupts icicles from the shell from the ground and inflicts a frost effect on your enemies, causing them to either freeze or go slow. Up next, your fireball, which throws a fireball at your enemy and anybody nearby, causing them to inflict the burn effect, which is a slow net burning effect. This one actually does decent damage. If you do this class, you should rely on this move quite a bit, as it's the only thing that really does quote-unquote damage that's decent in this class, other than our next move, which is Lightning Strike, which is a strike that inflicts damage on multiple enemies for hordes. This is a decent move for hordes, to be honest. Then it introduces a move called Storm, where it inflicts Super Frost, which is a huge finisher move on a boss. Remember not to waste it. The reason why I ranked this class because it is good for range, and don't get me wrong, it is not a glad class, but it could be better. It's good to pair up with someone for this class. Next is the Guardian, which is considered to be a more heavier type class. This class carries a giant sword that can be used to inflict good horde damage on enemies and can be used to slice, slice, and slice. Firstly, let's show our moveset. Firstly is your slash, which does a very heavy amount of damage. It also takes a bit more than the other classes do because it's supposed to relate to defender. Up next, your aggro draw, which has almost a 16-second cooldown. It captures your enemy's focus while you gain 50% damage resistance. It's good for a boss where you can distract bosses very easily using this move. Up next is rock spike, which slashes the ground and unearth the rocks at your foes. After that, use your slash furries, which launches multiple slash forward. Works very much like a combo move. After that is your sword prism, which traps on the side and can rebound a bunch of swords in the sky. Great finisher combo. Guardian is better than the elementalist in my opinion, simply because of its damage and very high finisher combos, as well as its horde damage. After this, our dual wielder, which I ranked number 1. The reason I ranked it number 1 is because of its ability to do fast damage combos. Its moveset includes combat rhythm, which increases tempo to the max and 2 times critical rate, which is very good for a slash and a good continuous move to go up with inducing combos. Up next is your dash strike, which loops sword and strikes both swords. A generally good finisher move or a halfway move, if you know what I mean. Up next is your blade dance, which can be a 28 hit combo. Gosh darn, this is a very powerful move and probably one of the best in game. The reason I ranked this one of the highest is because of its critical abilities, which combo can really help you out. The defenders with the combo can be really good. In general, if you want speed, choose this class. If you want range, choose elementalist. If you want other different moves, choose defender. Up next are tier 3 classes, which can be obtained using class tickets. Class tickets can be unlocked using chests as well. The Paladin class is our first. Paladin has Slash, which is primary cooldown. Up next is his block, which reflects 90% of the damage taken. However, I find this often doesn't work and is actually very difficult to pull off. After that is Guided Light, which casts lights on enemies and heals them. After that is Light Thrust, which fires lights on its dead enemy and the Ring of Justice. Although this isn't a class I would personally use myself, it is the best support class in the entire game, and it has the ability to OP to heal an opponent. Up next is our Mage of Light. Our Mage of Light has Light Seeker as its primary attack, which fires out tiny balls of light. After that is our Healing Circle, which can be really OP. After this is Infused Light, which negates debuffs really fast, so pretty much no effects can happen to you. Plus, the cooldown is only 1 second. Next is Barrier, which can be really OP, and this barrier can pretty much save you in certain attacks. And finally, Grace, which is the best support move in the entire game. This is a great healing class in general and can come in really handy if you like one of your fellas on these team. I like this class quite a bit and is generally the best healing class in game. And the second best class in the entire game is Berserker. It has Slash, which is general slash 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 with your swords. Works like a dual wielder in a sense. Aggro Slam is a very powerful slam that locks out enemies with around 2 hits. Then Giga Spin, which works very much like Defender. After that is Fissure, which locks out the mainly of this class. After that is Rage, which enters Rage mode. This Rage can pretty much fire on people, and this is the best class, and the spin is pretty OP and can pretty much knock out enemies in one go. And the first class in game, it is obviously Demon. Demon has monster class, Demon Onyx, Slash Throw, and more. It is considered the best class, as that is what the game hypes it up to be in general. It also has incredible damage and 3-throw range, which is why I ranked it the best class in game. I generally ranks this as best. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed my rankings. Please leave your thoughts down below.